Namaste, खुश रहो बेटिया. I JBN Varsha Singh from Jyoti Vidyapith Women's University. Our today's topic of the session is grid security infrastructure in the subject of cloud computing, and the topic was grid security. So in this session we will discuss about what is grid security infrastructure. There are some technology which is based on grid computing like IGTF, EU grid PMA, SPG, PKI. And for security, authentication and authorization in grid, we will see what is the technique which is based on grid computing. The third one is your security operation. So let us start about basic architecture of grid computing, in which three main things are involved. The first one is your resource management, the second one is your information services, and the data management. These are the key foundation of grid, and the basic objective of this grid security to manage all these three. So the first grid security is which technology the technology which is used for grid security is your authentication and authorization checking. In authentication, we will take care of who we are on the grid. That means the person who is using grid mm, give the information. And the authorization means as you know, the grid computing is a collection of computers, e- each individual computer working on the same task, but each computer working individually. So we have to give permission which computer use which type of data and not. So we have to take care of authorization access also. So every computer have some authorization permission or some not. The third one is your protection. The data integrity and confidentiality is very important in grid security purpose. So grid security infrastructure is considered the grid credential like a digital certificate and private key. The international trust is IGTF and use grid PMA. So what is European grid infrastructure? In European grid infrastructure, central body for coordinating international grid collaboration and standardization and interoperability. Interoperability means the data which is accessible. I mean, it every computer which has capacity to run the data, and which type of you project running, every computer has capacity and infrastructure that can support this type of data, that is called interoperability. So in European grid infrastructure, at least 40 members is involved. The more than 35,000 CPUs used can be taken in the task, in which 180 PV disk and 165 PV tapes, and the job which is done in per day is 1.5 million job. So how they share the resources securely? There are many security standards they have to follow, a lot of tools to implement the standards, but it should work for all participants. Some policies and procedures are as in grid infrastructure like open grid forum, Some is International Grid Trust Federation and Grid PMS, and the ECI Security Policy Group. Open Grid Forum is an open community committed to driving the rapid evolution and adoption of applied distributed computing. OGF accomplishes its work through open forums that build the community, explore trends, share best practices, and consolidate these best practices into standards. What is International Grid Trust Federation? International Grid Trust Federation is a body to establish common policies and guidelines between its policy management authorities, members, and to ensure compliance to this federation document amongst the participating PMS. Right? So these are some basic European grid infrastructures like EU grid PMA, right? And this authority certificate is provided by grid PMA membership. Here are some SPG policy where top level grid security policy like grid security policy for all users, grid acceptable use policy. These are some technology which is used for security purpose like public key infrastructure. This type of security involved in encryption for encryption and decryption where public key and private key is used like is the technology which is involved is a symmetric and asymmetric encryption decryption method. So a public key infrastructure is a PKI is a set of hardware, software, people, policies and procedures needed to create, manage, distribute, use, store and revoke digital certificate. Authentication is the act of confirming the truth of an attribute of a datum or entity. Right. So datum is the metadata. This might involve confirming the identity of a person or software program. So, authentication often involves verifying the validity of at least one form of identification, either public key, private key, or username or passphrase. In authorization, authorization is a function specifying access rights to resources. More formally, to authorize is to define access policy. Resource include like files, item data, computer programs. Okay, so this type of policies which is used in security purpose in grid computing. So thank you class, this is all about of this session. I hope you like my session. If any query regarding this session, please comment below. This digital session provided by Jyoti Vidyapith Women's University. Thank you.